Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Happy New Year. Oh my goodness. I did not have an opportunity to connect with you last week, and I want you to know that I am feeling a certain type of way about it. There were some crazy technical issues going on. I don't know what happened, but I wasn't able to connect with you guys last week, and I missed you. Did you miss me? Because I missed you. I really, really did. And I was really excited to bring this series to a close so we could move on to the next thing, because the next topic, oh my goodness, oh my gosh, right, it's gonna blow your mind. I promise, it's gonna blow your whole mind. So anyway, I know that this is a new time. You guys are used to seeing me in the evenings, but we're coming in 12 o'clock. We're gonna be connecting, talking about sex on your lunch break. That's all I know. That's what we're doing during the daytime. I mean, some of you think about it during the day anyway, right? So to me, it just makes sense. Why not get some education and then you have something you can implement later on at night? I mean, I couldn't have done a better job coming up with that on my own. Wait, I did come up with that on my own. So hopefully this is a better time for you guys. I told you, let me know, drop it in the chat. Let me know if this is a good time for you, if it's working out good for you. Also, let me know where you are streaming from. And if you have questions, please be sure to drop them in the chat. So I am going to take a quick
We're really excited about Foundation. It is a new group program where couples are gathering from all around the world twice a week, couples who just want to have a thriving, successful, amazing marriage. No really well-built house is built without a foundation. As a matter of fact, without a foundation, it can't stand. It would just crumble right into the ground. We are going to interview experts and other successful couples so that you can get a glimpse into the lives of other people who are doing what it is that you desire to do, who have and who are accomplishing what it is that you want to accomplish. And we also have over 500 videos available for you to watch of all of our teaching. Everything that we've ever done, every topic that we've ever covered will be accessible to you.
So guys, if this sounds exciting to you and if this sounds like something you've been waiting for, go ahead and just give it a try. We're literally giving away a 15-day trial for $1. And then after that, it's simply $3 a day. And so, is your marriage worth it? Is your future worth it? Join the community today. Just click that button and meet us on the other side.
Welcome back. Welcome back. All right, you guys. So I heard you saying audio's not coming through. All right, let me know. Are we good? Are we good? Can you hear me? Where we at? Let me know. Post. Let me know if you can hear me. And I do apologize, guys. I don't know what's going on with this audio. Let me know. Let me know. Can you hear me? All right, you guys. Let me know. Let me know. Let me tell you something. Madeline, you are my best friend today. Thank you so much. Kenny, you are my brother from another mother today. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. And I do apologize. I have no clue like what happened. But anyway, no more delays. Let us jump right in. We have been talking about sex after betrayal, right? And trying to get to a healthy place after there has been a betrayal. We were discussing the 3 phases of erotic recovery, and we went through the crisis phase, where that is right after D-Day. I mean, where they're just major emotional instability, losing sleep, not remembering to eat, not taking care of yourself, intrusive thoughts, triggers all over the place, arguments, and either absolutely no sex at all, or you may be having passionate and intense sex. Just a lot going on, a lot of confusion, not sure if you want to stay or if you want to go, just all over the place during the crisis phase. And then we transition into the insight phase. And the insight phase is where there's empathy, there's less blame. We start looking at the affair as our affair instead of your affair. And there's more curiosity, more questions being asked. How did this happen? How did we get to this place? And really just trying to understand each other and, to try to begin the journey of moving toward a healthier place. The empathy is so important. because when we can experience empathy, we can truly begin to explore real erotic recovery. And then we are removing that third person from our bedroom, from our marital bed. So it's extremely important, again, to have that intimacy so that we can begin to explore what real intimacy can look, feel, and sound like moving forward. Okay. And so, in order to do that, again, getting that empathy really important so we can understand what that real intimacy looks like, but also to validate each other's feelings and to try to understand what it's been like to live in the other person's world. The betrayer is now looking at it from the betrayed perspective, and the betrayed is looking at it from the betrayer's perspective. And that is a really good place to be in, because once that happens, we really can begin to connect intimately, consciously, in a healthier way. And again, we're removing that third person from the bedroom. We can work to create that new sex life together with new fantasies and new ways of being together sexually. And you get some hope. That's one of the biggest things that's lost. That's lost when infidelity occurs. Hope for the success of the marriage. Hope for the continuation of the marriage. Hope that things will get better and you can start over and you can be together in a better, healthier way. Many couples have said multiple times, like I shared before, that the affair woke them up and now they're closer than ever before, which moves us into the third phase, which is the vision phase of recovery. And that's where we are starting today. So it is time to decide. It's really, really time to decide in the vision phase if you want to create a new future for your relationship. And so if you are saying, yes, that is what we want to do, then we've got to create a new monogamy agreement together. Not one person creating the agreement. No, we do it together because we have to make decisions together. We have to negotiate together what this new monogamy is going to look like. And that will, hopefully, it should include a new erotic life, one that will be satisfying for both parties involved. And having understanding is critical to ensuring that you have an exciting and passionate relationship. We cannot ignore the erotic part of our relationship. We can't ignore that and just focus on getting along and avoiding conflict, because what happens then is you just become good roommates, but you won't have that in love feeling, which is what most of us desire and we're craving and we miss. And eventually you'll be dissatisfied and you'll be frustrated if you're not able to cultivate and nurture and improve that erotic part of your relationship. That erotic connection is actually the space where we find that in love feeling. But it takes work, and it's not going to be an easy overnight thing. Like the same way it took time for your relationship to grow apart, it will take time for you to strengthen that erotic part of your relationship. And you have to practice just like you do with meditation or anything else that you want to make a habit. So you have to practice it together. And you have to commit to a future of erotic recovery every single day. Do you hear me? Every single day, not just when you feel like it. Every day you have to make that commitment. All right. So now, creating this monogamy agreement, I want to talk about with you guys, because I think that's really important to reestablishing, rebuilding a foundation, a healthy foundation in your relationship. And I think sometimes couples will assume that both of them have the same understanding of infidelity, but that's not always the case, because it's usually not discussed. Someone crosses the other person's boundary or their line, and then it literally can destroy the relationships. There's so many different incidences of infidelity that could have been avoided if couples just take the time to work through a monogamy agreement. Everything that I tell you guys, every single time is about communication. Every single time, communication. All right. So there's some principles that can actually inform your monogamy agreement. And then, of course, there's some areas that you need to discuss as part of your agreement. So you definitely want to make sure you discuss hopes versus fears. You want to start off by sharing your hopes. We always want to start off on the positive, right? Many times couples start with their fears, and the fears are actually what's fueling their behavior and their thoughts. The fears fuel their feelings, right? And the fears fuel their viewpoint. So when we start with fears, the other person literally might find that they're spending a lot of time just trying to calm down the fears or to defend their own hopes. So if we start off by sharing our hopes, each person might actually be pleasantly surprised that at certain points in the discussion, like they won't even have to worry about their fears because what they feared the other person wanted was not even true. So we have these false beliefs many times. So we have to have these conversations, discuss our hopes. And a lot of times the hopes are so good and they are so far from what the one person may have imagined the other person's hopes were that, again, you may not even need to talk about the fears. But there are times where your hopes might spark some fears. And that's okay. You just take note of them, own your fears, and you actually can ask each other for agreements to help to lessen the fears. But it shouldn't be an indefinite thing. The agreement shouldn't address one person's fears and the other person's hopes. Both parties need to address their hopes and fears. So something that you can do is you can write down your hopes, um, and do the same thing with your fears. So write down your hopes, scale them from 1 to 5 with something that you really don't want to miss out on. And one, it would be nice. All right. So you want to put them on a scale. Same thing with the fears. You know, 5 is I don't think I could live with this as part of our relationship. And 1, it makes me uncomfortable, but I can live with it. So you want to prioritize your hopes and fears, and you want to try to your hopes and fears, and you want to try to prioritize your 5s in your list as things that you need to address in your agreement. All right. Another thing you want to do is consider privacy versus secrecy. All right. So privacy can literally be a part of respect in a relationship, and it's not the same thing as secrecy. And it also is not justification for anyone to act in a way that that your partner will not be happy with. So you have to determine what aspects of your relationship, and sexually, you want to share with each other, and what aspects you're okay like not knowing about, or that are, you may be unwilling to share. But to me, like, I feel like there's nothing you should be unwilling to share. I don't believe there should be anything that's kept or hidden. But privacy might extend to maybe social media, text, emails. I don't know. But, ideally, you want there to be enough trust in the relationship that each person wouldn't feel the need to check. But we all know that after infidelity, checking the phone, social media, bank accounts, whatever, we know it can't prevent infidelity, but there are some checks and balances, right? As you're on that road to recovery and you're healing and you are reestablishing, rebuilding, that trust and a new foundation in your relationship. But once you get to that place where it's like, okay, I feel confident this person isn't cheating and that they're being faithful and we don't have to worry about that, some of those checks should start to taper off, right? As you're moving toward more confidence and more consistency and more certainty that, there's no more infidelity in your relationship, nor would this person put you in that position again, then you should be moving toward tapering off with some of those checks that you need to do. All right. So the next area that you want to discuss as part of your agreement is autonomy and respect. Agreements are not the same thing as rules. And many times the turnoff with the agreements is that one person feels like they're being controlled, or you're trying to tell them what to do, or you're making up all these rules and they feel like one person is a parent and the other one is the child. And it's not that. We're not making a list of rules with this agreement. with a list of consequences to be enforced. That's not what we're doing. When you have a relationship that's based on rules, it can truly quickly change a partnership into a policy parenting type, policing, parenting, policies to be enforced type of situation. And everybody has to take responsibility for their own insecurities, for their own triggers, which literally could be based on previous relationships, past experiences. We have to own our stuff. So it is reasonable to ask your partner for support with triggers, but it is inappropriate to expect this lifelong agreement that is based primarily on unresolved fears and unhealed wounds from previous relationships. That's not fair to you or your partner. So each one of us, we have to work on our own fears and insecurities and then expect to revisit them when you revisit your agreement, because once you make the agreement, you still have to be reviewing that agreement. All right. So guys, short break, and then we'll come back with some topics that you need to include in your monogamy agreement. Do not go anywhere. You are watching SOS. All right. Don't go anywhere. Good afternoon, Vincent. You're most welcome. He says, thank you for all you do. My pleasure. It is with passion and with purpose and pleasure that I do what I do for you guys. But thank you. So I want to post a comment here by Mr. Kenny. He says that seems it would be a long process. It would be hard to empathize with the cheater if you are the one who's the committed one, no matter what. It will help to create monogamy agreements. Wouldn't the betrayed want a level of transparency that could be viewed as controlling? So, do they want a level of transparency that could be viewed as controlling? Yeah, I guess it could be viewed that way, but keep in mind, everything's about our mentality, right? Everything's about our thought process, and we have to shift the way that we think. The betrayer needs to become a complete open book. There should be nothing that is hidden or restricted, because you're in the process of reestablishing and rebuilding the foundation. And that's exactly what I'm talking about, Kenny, when I say that, with being consistent and with showing up and doing the things that your spouse has an expectation of you to do over an extended period of time, there should be trust being reestablished, being rebuilt, and eventually some of those checks and balances and check-ins and check-outs, checking out the social media account, checking out the bank account, like some of that stuff should start to taper off over time. But that requires the betrayer to be consistent in their behavior, that their words and their actions have to align. And so I get that, yes, it can come off like they're trying to be controlling, but it's really about fear. They're afraid that you're going to do it again. Because the reality is, and when I say you, I'm not talking about you, Kenny. I don't know if you're the betrayed or betrayer or either. So I'm speaking generally when I say you. And what I'm saying is that many times there was controlling type behavior before infidelity. And if that is the case, it's like that old saying, if it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it sounds like a duck, it's a duck, right? So it's the same concept here. Before, if the person was controlling, they wanted to know your every move, who you were talking to, where you going, how long you're going to be gone, checking the bank account, checking, pay stubs, all this stuff. If they were doing that prior to infidelity, and then they continue doing that post infidelity, it can automatically, absolutely 100% come off like, there you go, trying to control me again. But the motive and the intent is different. The motive and intent may be different. Let me say may be different, because before it could have been about insecurities within themselves, right? But post infidelity, it could be about insecurities that they have about you as the betrayer. I don't feel secure that you won't cheat on me again, because one of the biggest things with the betrayed is, how did I not know? How did I miss this? How in God's name did I miss this? So they don't even have confidence in themselves and their ability to be able to detect when there's some type of disconnect or discord or disloyalty. And so now it's about, you're not going to catch me slipping again. I'm going to make sure I stay on top of everything so that I'm not blindsided again by your behavior. Okay. So again, I get that it could come off that way, but it's really about the motive and the intent, right? And having a conversation with your spouse to say, hey, why do you want me to do these things? And let them confirm or correct that that's what it is, that they're trying to control you, or it's just they're trying to get some safety, some sense of security, some certainty. Okay. And then the first part of your question or comment was that you said it seems like it could be a long process. And it would be hard to empathize with the cheater if you're the one who's the committed one, no matter what. But and you're right, it can be, but it doesn't have to be. The monogamy agreement is something that you guys can do in a day, or maybe you need to break up the sessions if it gets too heated or whatever. But you can start your monogamy agreement and begin to implement that right away. Reestablishing, rebuilding trust, yes, that is a long process, because you want that person to show up the same way consistently over time. And so that's the only way that you're going to rebuild and reestablish, your marriage and that trust and laying a new foundation. Of course, that takes time. Think about how long it took you to get to know that person well enough to feel confident that this is the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with. That's a long process for some. Right. And so just look at it that way. It's a new marriage, it's a new relationship, and we got to get to know each other all over again. We have to establish boundaries that we didn't have before. All right. We got to get to understand each other in a different way and have the conversations that maybe we didn't have before, or revisit the conversations that we had, but we weren't honest with each other. All right. Thank you for your question. I appreciate that. So some of the things that you I think would be good to include in your monogamy agreement was, how do we feel about masturbation? And I've done a show before on masturbation. And so you guys need to have a conversation about that. Are you okay with your partner masturbating around you, away from you, and vice versa? Is it something that you don't even want to know about? It's like, okay, go ahead. You can do it, but just, I don't want to know about it. So you guys have to have a conversation about that. Include that in your monogamy agreement if either one of you masturbate. Fantasy, where are we at with that? For me, no one should be fantasizing about anybody else but each other. But maybe fantasizing about something that we want to try, something that we want to do. We want to have a little bit more adventure in the bedroom. You guys talk about your fantasies. That's something that often does not happen with couples. We're embarrassed, we're ashamed, we feel like the person's going to judge us or look at us differently. But this is your spouse, this is your life partner, and you need to be having those conversations with them. Porn is another one. Definitely have a conversation about that. Me personally, I don't think porn should be in the marital situation, because I think it creates a false sense of reality and it causes, to me, more harm than good. Now, you do it, I'm not judging. That's between you and your partner and your maker, right? But to me, I've seen more harm than good come out of it. But have a conversation with your spouse and put it in your marriage agreement. Friendships. What are we doing about friendships? Are we having opposite sex friends? How do we feel about that? You guys can use the 19 signs of a close call friendship to set boundaries concerning members of the opposite sex. And I highly recommend that you do that and you include that in your marriage agreement. I think that's really important for you to have there. All right. So, oh my goodness, you guys, 30 minutes goes by so fast every single time. But hopefully this helped you. I want you to know next week, because it's a new year, right? New year, new you, and new relationship, new sex life, right? So we'll be talking about sex solutions. Everybody comes up with these New Year resolutions. So we're going to be talking about sex solutions, okay? So make sure you tune in next week. I want to say thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. You guys can tell me what you thought about this new time. I want you to put that in the comments and let me know how you feel about the new time in the afternoon. But I will see you this same time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next week on Tuesday, where we will be talking about sex solutions. Make sure you don't meet me there, beat me there. All right. Have a good day, you guys. Take care. Bye.